Everything's so colourful and so just made for Instagram. You just want to take a photo.
Yeah. She's one of social media's favourite contemporary artists, the Japanese phenomenon Yayoi Kusama. And at the launch of her latest Australian blockbuster, it's not just the usual media pack. There's also an army of Instagram influencers.
My goal is to get as many outfit photos with the art as possible.
Yeah, did you think about your outfit in relation to the art today?
Yeah, I wanted to be really colourful and poppy.
Yeah, love that.
So that with the art it would, really mesh well.
Yayoi Kusama's exhibitions continue to capture imaginations all around the world, like here at Goma Gallery in Brisbane. But while on their surface they might appear fun and vibrant, what's underneath are complex layers from this remarkable artist's life.
She is, 88 years of age, and she gets up to paint every single day. So there is a constant activity that she just, can't shut off. A lot of the time you will see in her installations, she plays with lights, motion, sound. It's a hypersensory, environment that she throws you into.
During 7 decades of prolific art making, there's a few key motifs that have repeatedly appeared and become synonymous with Yayoi Kusama's work, including her famous pumpkins.
Pumpkins was something that she was very familiar with, having grown up in a farming community as a child. But there was also a sense of identification with the pumpkins. Pumpkins don't care what anybody thinks of them. And that sense of rebelliousness and individualism is something that she could identify with very, very strongly.
And Yayoi Kusama had a lot to rebel against. From a very young age, she was determined to be an artist. But growing up in provincial Japan, Yayoi's parents had very different ideas for her future.
母が絵を描いてはいけない。お前は財閥の人と結婚して将来家庭の主婦になると言って私の絵の具だとかカンバスなどを取り上げてしまいました。
It was a complex childhood, compounded by something that would forever dominate Yayoi Kusama's life and drive her work.
She started having these hallucinating episodes. She started seeing flowers coming out at her, nets coming over her.
のことで、そして一生懸命絵を描き、33フィートの大きさなの、朝から晩までその網を描いておりました。
And from the spaces between these nets came her most iconic motif of all.
Gradually, the polka dot became a kind of a motif where she's used them to obliterate the human ego, which she sees as the source of conflict in the world, but also to talk about the effects of the cosmic and seeing the world beyond our earthly selves. So the polka dot has moved to something much larger and pointing towards cosmological scales.
When Kusama moved to New York in the late 50s, her polka dots became a feature of her nude parties and anti-war protests. She painted and created exhaustively, driving the city's avant-garde art movement alongside names like Andy Warhol.
It's a phenomenal thing that, when she was in New York back then as a young Asian female in quite a masculine, macho art world in New York, that she's managed to achieve this.
Eventually, the stresses and memories of life did force her to withdraw.
それは結局体の調子が悪くてね、あまりにも絵描きすぎて、それで具合が悪くてこっちの方行きまして。
Since 1977, Yayoi has voluntarily lived in a mental health institution in Tokyo. But she's continued to harness her visions, phenomenally, prolifically painting every day in her nearby studio.
So even though her life has been quite complex, is she happy for people to view her work as joyous?
I'm sure she's happy to allow that sort of interpretation, with her work. She's kind of brimming with so much life energy that she says that she would love to live till 500 years old.
Many say Yayoi Kusama has arrived at her golden age of art, as her vibrant works prove irresistible in this era where art has met social media.
I think that because her work inherently makes a really beautiful image as well that you want to share with your followers. It's not just a passive thing of looking as well, that it's something that you can capture and continue to share with people and continue to reach new people with her work.
Do you think there's a risk people might just look at it on the surface level and take a selfie and be gone?
There is that definite risk, of course. I think with exhibitions that provide that scope, you will definitely get to see that the practice of Kusama is much more expansive, than just these, pretty colours and polka dots.
Yeah, you get punished. Yeah, you're nailing it.
You're so override. You're so overripe.